Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 30th of August 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. There's always a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD website, but specifically the JFD research page, where you can go and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis, and I believe you can find something useful here, guys, for yourselves. So feel free to check us out. But right now, first let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the German DAX. So the DAX30 here, you can see that today it pushed to the upside. This morning I talked about DAX as well, and this is what I was saying, that we may see, or we are seeing something of a inverted head and shoulders formation here, with this one being the neckline near the 11,865 zone, and you can see we had a nice pop here to the upside. It traveled higher, but currently you can see that the index is getting held near the 200 EMA, also around the R2, which is around that 200 EMA as well. So on the 4-hour chart, of course, the target for us was around the 12,035 zone. You can see that the index almost managed to reach the psychological 12,000 level, but kind of failed to do that. That's it. I mean, we still have a few hours left before it could potentially hit the 12,000 level, and as I said, slightly above that we do have a nice good area of resistance near the 12,035 zone, so keep your eyes on that one. In a way, if the index stays above this neckline, then there's of course a good chance that we could see this one pushing further up here. Let's not exclude a possibility of seeing maybe something like this as well, where, for example, if the index struggles to push further above the R2 or further towards the 12,000 level, it could retrace a little bit back down, but as long as it stays above this neckline, the 11,965 zone, then we will continue aiming higher, slightly higher. Of course, we're not going to drag this one too much to the upside. Of course, you understand that we could aim here for the whole difference here, the whole length of the head and the neckline, between the head and the neckline. So in a way, it could lead the index somewhere closer to this level right here. And let me just quickly put this one on the chart. But of course, for now, guys, the main question here is, can this hit the 12,000 level today? If it can, then we will, like I said, we'll aim for the 12,035, and then we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do. If he wants to continue traveling higher, that's great. The next target could be around the 12,115 zone, which is marked by the low of the 30th of July, or even, like I said, going all the way here towards the 12,254.50 zone, approximately around there. So also a good potential target. But like I said, for now, keep your eyes on this. If this struggles to push towards the 12,000 level today, we could see this one correcting maybe back down a little bit, but as long as it remains above the 11,000 11,865 zone, we will continue targeting the upside. If this suddenly drops back below the 11,865, then, well, I mean, this could increase the chances for DAX30 to slide back down here towards the 11,550 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. But like I said, for now, everything's looking a little bit more bullish than bearish. Looking at Nasdaq100 now. Yesterday we did have a nice close here in the positive territory, but still, as I looked at this one previously about a week ago, basically we need to see a clear break above the 7,770 zone before we could get a little bit more excited with the further upside. Looking at the cash index right now, we can see that the index is already above this level right here, the 7,727 zone. So in a way, we can actually get rid of this. This is just not to overcrowd the chart. So like I said, the main target, the main level for us to watch is going to be this 7,770. A nice good break above this could open the path towards higher levels, and this is when we will aim for the 7,940 zone, which is marked by the high of the 1st of August, or should I say the intraday swing high of the 1st of August. So good potential target here, and let's see how this is going to play out. Like I said, we are very close to this 7,770 zone on the cash index. So let's see if the bulls have enough steam to push this one further up. Looking at this picture overall, you can see that the index is currently stuck kind of in this nice rising wedge formation, but from the more of a short-term perspective, you can see that it continues to, it kind of moves sideways. It is moving a little bit sideways here within a nice little range here, but still, what we're going to do here in order to, let's say, consider a possible move lower, ideally we would like to see a drop below this level right here. And let me just slightly adjust this very quickly. So this 7,430 zone, just for that better kind of in order to kind of, let's say, start looking at the downside, then yep, we will aim for lower areas. There's a very good support area right here near the 7,356. But like I said, on a drop below the 7,430, this is when we will start considering lower areas. But also, like I said, we'll keep an eye on this 7,356 zone. If we get a nice break below that as well, then this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and the index could travel further down. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into a few pairs now very quickly. USDCAD, I talked about this one this morning as well, and what I was saying is that we need a nice good clear breakthrough one of these levels. So basically we had a nice pop here through the 1.3268 zone, and this kind of was triggered by the good data that came out from Canada, so good GDP figures, and this, like I said, this kind of helped the Canadian dollar to strengthen, especially against the US dollar, and we saw this sharp move to the downside. The only thing is that what you can see here is that yes, we did drop below the 1.3268, but it kind of got held here near this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So in a way, we can see that the kind of it's repeating its history. I mean, like here, for example, this week on the 27th of August, we saw this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart kind of holding the rate from moving lower, and we could see the same scenario here. So that's why for now, yes, it did break the 1.3268. This kind of increases the chances for a further slide lower. Now, in this situation, what we could do here is continue monitoring this 200 EMA, but be very careful, have your stop loss in place. If we see a nice good drop below the 200 EMA, then this could lead towards the lows of this week near the 1.3221 zone. But if that fails to withhold, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more bears, and we could see this one sliding further down towards the 1.32 zone or even lower. But like I said, for now, keep your eyes on the 200 EMA. Also, still continue observing this 1.3268 zone, because if the let's say it a daily candle remains above this level here with the 1.3268, that means that well, not everything is really running smoothly in the bear block, and you can see that we could see that the bulls kind of fighting back and potentially maybe pushing this one to the upside again. But what you could do here is with the upside, of course, what you could do is just wait this one out a little bit. If we start seeing push above this level right here near the 1.3319, then yes, I mean, this could increase the pair's chances to travel further up here. But ideally, just for it to be on the to be more careful here, ideally we would like to see a push above the 1.3345 level here, which acted as a fantastic barrier here, fantastic resistance barrier for the pair. And if we do get a nice push above this, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then target areas like the 1.3432 zone, which previously, as you can see, acted as a fantastic area of resistance back on the 18th of June. So keep your eyes on that one. AUDCHF, another very interesting pair that I really wanted to kind of show you is, and you can see that the pair is currently kind of stuck here within this kind of range, roughly between the 0.6529 and on the downside, and the 0.6670 on the upside. So in a way, the pair, you can see that it's trying to get closer to the upper side of this range, and we will wait for a clear break above this, because this way, if we get a nice push above this 0.6670 level, then the next potential target could be around this 200 EMA. But the only thing is that I would like you to kind of remember here is that we are still within a downtrend, and looking at this picture, and if I'll draw this really tentative downside resistance line, this is how it looks right now. So we can see that we're still below this downside line. So in a way, if we get a nice push above the 0.6670, yes, we could see this one traveling higher. We could see this one hitting the 200 EMA, or even going all the way to here towards the 0.6740 zone. Also a good potential area of resistance. But I mean, well, if the pair could travel all the way here, might as well maybe test this downside resistance line as well. So in a way, as long as it kind of stays below this line, we will remain kind of bearish in the near term, sorry, in the medium term. So but if this line breaks and we see a nice good push and a close maybe above this downside line, then yep, we will start considering much higher levels here, going maybe all the way here towards the 0.69 level. But for now, that's of course a bit of a long shot. For now, keep your eyes on the 0.6670. If we get a nice push above this, then yep, it could open the path towards these slightly higher levels. In terms of the downside, from the very short term perspective, what you could look at here is this level near the 0.6612. A nice good drop below this could in a way send the pair a little bit lower. Initially, we will aim for this little level right here near the 0.6579. That kind of marks the low of the yesterday's low. Nice, very good bouncing ground, which was seen as a nice bouncing ground yesterday. So if we get a nice drop below the 0.6610 zone, then keep your eyes on this, on the yesterday's low. But if that fails to withhold, then the next potential target could be around here, somewhere near the 0.652930 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into GBPUSD very quickly here. So this is what I was talking about this morning, and you can see that this this upside line here, this kind of in a way a bit of a tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 11th of August, kind of continues to hold. And you can see that we did have a nice good break initially, but you can see that the bulls kind of managed to push the rate back above it again. And what I was saying this morning, that in order to get slightly more comfortable with lower levels, ideally we would like to see a drop below the 1.2154-55 zone here, and only then we will consider the downside in the short run, but that break never happened. We did get close to that level, but as you can see, like the bulls really kind of pushed it back above this upside line. So in a way, we're still stuck, because on the other hand, we're still, the GBPUSD is still below this downside resistance line taken from the high of May this year. So that's why for now we're gonna take it very carefully. From the very short-term perspective, what you could do here is, of course, maybe keep an eye on some of these levels here, like for example this one right here. Let me just quickly put this one on the chart, around the 1.2234, 35. A nice good push above this could in a way lead the pair towards the test of this downside line, but ideally what we would like to see here is a push above the 1.2310 level, and only then we will consider higher levels, because this way not only that the downside resistance line would get broken, could get broken, and but also we would push above the this week's high, which is, like I said, the 1.2310, and this way as well the pair would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could aim for higher levels. But again, for now, this is where we're stuck here. So continue observing these two levels. So basically on the downside, keep an eye on the 1.2154, 55. If we get a drop below this, yes, we will aim for lower, but we'll be very careful still. We're not gonna push this one drastically to the downside. Initially we'll just aim for the 1.2063, and then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do after. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on here, and that's going to be the euro dollar. And so this one also I talked about this morning, but it's very calm, very quiet today. So it is drifting further down. It is trading below the 1.1050, but it's still kind of struggling to get closer to this 1.1024, 25 zone. You can see that that was the lowest point of August. So in a way, what we're going to do here is going to just continue observing this. We'll see how this trades during the US session, and if it stays above this level here, above this 1.1025, then of course this level will be the lowest point of this month, and then it will be very interesting to see how this pair performs in the next month. So because looking at the monthly chart here, you can see that we probably most likely will close the month in the negative territory, but like I said, let's not over speculate on this one too much. First, let's keep an eye on today's activity during the US session, and if it stays above this 1.1024, then it will be, like I said, very interesting to see how it performs next week. But again, like I said before, we could examine further declines. We need to see that break below this 1.1024, 25 in order to kind of, let's say, aim for further declines, because this way the pair would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and probably more bears could start joining in here. If this pushes back, let's say, above the 1.1072 area, approximately around there, we will start considering slightly higher levels. We'll aim for the 1.1094 zone, but if that fails to withhold, then it could travel, the pair could travel all the way here towards the area around the 1.112930 zone, or even test this downside, this kind of short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 24th of June. So could be a nice good target here. We'll take it from there, see if it actually holds again. If it holds, then we could see this one curving up and pushing back to the downside. But again, like I said, let's not over complicate this. First, for now, let's see how it's going to perform today during the US session. And like I said, keep your eyes on some of these levels. So like I said, on the downside is the 1.1024, 25 level, and on the upside, keep your eyes on the 1.1072. Let's see how this is going to play out. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me on Monday, as always, in my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a beautiful weekend, guys, and I'll see you on Monday. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.